all started with George Floyd, okay? I've had several interns and a couple of kids that I'm mentoring. They wanted to go in, females wanted to get into law enforcement, but because of that, it kind of soured them, you know? So that's why I wanted to do the show with you, because we're going to have bad things or bad moments, but we are looking to like I'm part of law enforcement, you know, looking to rectify the situation. And I don't want people to complain. I want people to see how can they go in and help. So that's what I was talking. So that's why I really wanted to do this show, because after George Floyd, it's like a bad taste. And other people have also about the police department and law enforcement, not just the police department, but law enforcement as a whole. But, you know, what I'm, you know, with my mentees, I'm trying to show them, okay, fine, I understand how you feel, but maybe if you go in, you can change the system. You can go in. That's so now. So, and when I told them about you and we talked about your bio, they were thoroughly impressed. So I said, you know what, let's just do a show, not just have you come and talk or just do a Zoom or StreamYard with you talking. Let's just, because I'm sure if they are feeling that way, there are other people feeling that way as well. And especially what's going on. And then I showed them what happened at the Capitol, that it was a police officer, you know, that wonderful guy who, you know, tried to stop everything, but see, he was putting his life at risk. So there are good police officers out there. So they were really interested, and I think I kind of changed some of their minds, but don't say anything. But
I mean, I really do appreciate that. And I'm going to tell you, you know, before I came and served as a spokesperson in public affairs, you know, I probably would have understood that a lot more, because, you know, I'm working in a crime lab. I did, you know, operate in a silo, because I just, you know, we just follow, you know, we follow the evidence, you know, not really picking a side. I didn't really honestly know a whole lot, even though I worked in law enforcement, you know, in the crime lab. I didn't have as much engagement with police officers like I do now, just because, you know, we've got our investigative division. And so, you know, what you don't know, I mean, you don't know, right? And so I understand. I understand those feelings. I can't deny them. I can't discount them. And, you know, people don't really want to hear, oh, well, you know, that's not everybody, one person. Don't judge the entire profession on the bad acts of one, because I mean, we all know it. One bad apple spoils the bunch. Right. But what I can say, what I've seen, especially working at an agency where a lot of times we are investigating police officers and we arrest police officers. I mean, it's just, I mean, there's a lot. And you go to follow us on social media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, you're going to see a lot of cases where we've arrested police officers. What I can say is, not just at GVI, when I'm, you know, police officers, a lot of my friends are police officers, and that, you know, no one gets more disappointed and upset about a police officer that's not doing what he or she's supposed to do than another police officer, you know? And so what I always encourage people to do is that a lot of times we see these images, we see these images and we say, okay, just hold on, be patient. We're trying to get to, and you don't want to hear that. But the reality is, when I look at a case, and I'm seeing the whole story, I'm seeing everything, and I'm not just seeing a portion of it, of what's being placed on TV. And the media, they do, they get the information based on what's released. But, you know, oftentimes, because they are open cases, you know, we can't release everything. We can't put everything out, because after it comes to the investigating agency, it has to then go to a prosecutor for them to review and make decisions. So I would say follow the case until the end. Like, don't just go off of, you know, what you see on TV. But you need, if you really, really want to get to the bottom of things, you need to follow it. You need to, you know, file an open records request. Look at the whole file. Look at everything. Look at the interviews that were done. I'm not saying that for all the cases, but sometimes there are cases like, we don't understand how this happened. But, you know, we're getting only, you know, kind of snippets of what's shown to us. I also say, you know, there are plenty of groups out there, you know, that advocate for things. I say, you know, become part of those groups that are doing it in the right manner as far as trying to correct the problem, and talk to your local law enforcement agency. You know, go set up meetings, have conversations, ask questions, get to know them. The Capitol, Georgia State Capitol, there are a lot of legislators that, you know, they introduce laws, they have constituents. Get to know your legislators. That there are just so many, you know, avenues that, instead of just being frustrated that you can just take action. You know, in my role, you know, representing the GBI, I'm not going to be out on social media expressing personal opinions and, you know, taking positions and stances and talking about this person should have done that and putting all of that out there. I mean, it's not appropriate now. Hey, we'll see. When I retire, I may become the most vocal person out there.
Right.
So, you know, I know that sometimes, you know, you may want to say, well, why isn't this person standing up? I mean, so, you know, in certain positions, it's just not appropriate. We also have our own ongoing cases, and anything that someone in my position does, or even a GBI agent, even a crime lab scientist, they say something, they put it on social media, that can be used in court. And it could really mess up a case. And so, you know, there's, you know, limited in terms of public positions that can be taken. But I will say that, you know, we understand the pain. I mean, 2020 was, I mean, it was ruthless. Okay. I mean, it was ruthless, but, you know, we're at the place now that we're trying to heal, right? We want to heal and move forward together, but there are definitely ways, but don't give up on police officers. There's so many out there that serve in the community. Remember, when you call 911, someone's at your house trying to break in, you're going to call 911 and they're going to come and they're running towards danger. So I just say that, if I didn't believe this, I just honestly wouldn't do this job. It's really hard to fake this. I'm just going to tell you,
I can imagine.
It'd be really hard to fake. And I mean, I get frustrated too. You see someone, I get frustrated, but I know, okay, let me go I'm going to go learn more. Let me see what I can get, what kind of information I can get, see the rest of the story.
Well, for me, what I do is in my community, because I'm in the Kennesaw Ackworth area, I love my Kennesaw Police Department.
Yay.
I love them.
Yeah.
So I was a part of what is it? It's the Citizens Police Academy. And I did that because I wanted to see what officers go through, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We went through a simulation, and can I tell you, I shot everyone. Okay.
Not laugh.
I have to tell the truth, because the adrenaline that you're going through.
Yeah.
And again, I am not saying I'm condoning a lot of bad behavior, but what I am saying, Nelly, I understand.
Thank
you. The wrongful shootings and stuff. Again, I am not condoning, but I understand because when I saw my body count, and I'm like, and I wasn't in that high sense of it was a simulation.
Right.
Wow. So it actually I put myself in their position, in their place. And I'm like, wow, every time they get a call, a domestic, you never know. And these are people who they're underpaid. I'm going to put that out there. They're underpaid, and they're going out there to protect and serve, and I just love my police officers. I just love them because, I mean, Chief Westenberger and Chief Dennis, I always talk about them. I live, breathe Kennesaw. I think I'm really a police officer, No, but I just see it. And what I tell my mentees, no matter where you live, go out and reach out to the police officers, because just like, they're human. Say hello. Get to know exactly what you said. That's what I preach this every day. So when people call me and they're like, well, Jackie, you love your police officers, but we don't think yada, yada, yada. You know what? Let's set up a meeting. Speak with the police chief. Get to know, because it starts from the top. The mayor, the police chief. Get to know what he's all about. Don't just look at the color of the skin. Get to know your police officer, because it's great to know when you see someone driving in a patrol car, you can wave, they can wave. If you see them at the store, you can wave. So, I do believe in being respectful to the police officers. And I do understand that one apple can't spoil the whole bunch. But thank God we don't have bad apples up here that I know about. But I am just saying, and I just have so much faith in my police officers. And I'm sure there are a couple out there, but I have not met with them yet. And I truly respect someone, just like going into the military. You're allowing me to talk to you on the phone. On what I'm doing, I'm free. I can do whatever I want to do. In my country, when there's an election on my island, they're killing people. Okay. So I have a different appreciation than most people. So for me, I just I just love my officers. And that's what I try to, if I'm in Atlanta, I'm always saying, hey, are you okay? Please be safe. I'm sending scriptures like, we need you to be safe, because that's just how I feel. And, I could go on and on and on and on. But so, I respect also what you're doing, Nelly, because like I say, I'm watching you on LinkedIn. I'm constantly double tapping you and seeing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you too.
It takes a lot what you're doing. And, we may not see behind the scenes, but you make it look easy. Okay. You
Thank
make it look,
you.
I don't know
Thank
how you
you.
do it, but you make it look easy. And I
Thank you. That's just
respect you.
concealer, but thank you. That's just concealer. That's all that is. That's that matte concealer. Okay.
I'm like, I don't care how early, how late. So, and I do believe in giving people their roses, not just women, just giving people their roses, because you may have a bad day, but please know it's a bad moment. It's not a bad day. And there are people who are championing you in what you're doing. So I just want you to know that, because everyone has great things to say about you. I feel like I'm speaking to a celebrity right now. And
I
so,
just really the human beings that I'm around, they're just really good people. And I just want to really live in this space that, yes, I just want to be around positive people that are challenging me to do better and be better. And we have so many in the policing profession that are doing just that. And so you mentioned these police chiefs who I just really respect, and they're my friends, and they're doing great things. And I can tell you just what you're saying, Jacqueline, about you getting to know your police department and the support and the faith that you have in them. That's what they're looking for. And I know that it goes both ways, but I would just say, let's kind of have some grace. Let's get to know each other. We're just, sometimes you got to hit the refresh. I do it, I try to work out consistently, and then I have a bad few days, and it's just like, time to refresh. And so that's what we're doing in 2021. And that is so warm. That warms my heart how you explain that, because that's exactly, that's how I feel. And that's what we're looking for, just for, the community to give us a chance to hit that reset and heal. And we can, I say that people really need to reach out to their law enforcement agencies. At the end of the day, there is a process. And I think that if we have this healthy dialogue and then try to come up with some really good concrete goals, I think there's definitely a good path forward together. What really stands out to me, that I think is really important just for all of us to be reminded, is that when you do open up your social media accounts and you see Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram and all of these different platforms, and you turn on the TV and something has happened in Kansas, has happened, in California, has happened in South Carolina, New York, Minnesota. What we tend to do is you look at that, and then you basically release this type of emotion. It kind of sort of, oh God, you're sad, you're mad. And then what we do is then take that and apply that to where we are. So we might take it out on our loved one and get angry, or the next police officer you see is just like, oh, they're all that way. But the reality is we cannot take what's happened, something that's happened 200 miles away, and then directly apply it to our, say, local police department. It's definitely a great opportunity for us to maybe ask some questions. Okay, well, how do you all handle this? Well, what is your policy for certain types of like investigative techniques? You may want to ask that, and that's fine. But what we often do is just take that, and then next thing we know, we've applied it to what we're dealing with today, and then we're angry. No, we definitely want to process what we're going through, and it's hard. But then to go one step further, then take it out. When we had the civil unrest over the summer, and I know there've been a lot of statements made about it, and I'm not going to say anything specific about what people should have done or shouldn't have done. But what I can say is that in all of it, just talking to these police officers, they had rocks and all sort of objects like thrown at them, spit on, just all kinds of stuff. Now, I think that we can agree that that's definitely not the way for us to respond. Absolutely support peaceful protesting, And certainly we can, we're not going to go down that road, but I mean, you start throwing rocks and, all these different things and, injuring people and potentially putting yourself in a situation to injure the people around you, that's way across the line. And so I would just say that, there are plenty of, different ways to try to wrestle with all of the things that we've been seeing. And obviously we know this didn't just start in 2020. This has been, long before 2020, for several years that, we've been, dealing with dealing with a lot of social justice issues as it surrounds this topic that we're talking about. But certainly I think 2020 just, brought us to the point where in the midst of a global pandemic, all of this happens, and then, poof, the perfect storm, it just explodes.
It's just been a pleasure talking to you. It's like you just come with this, you have this effervescence. I love that word, effervescence
Good word.
smile, and you just have that energy, that light about you. So without further ado, again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. So thank you and have a lovely evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.